Hello everyone, welcome to SwitchUp. In today's video we're going to once again have a look at some of the games coming out for the Switch in this upcoming week. As we always do, we'll first have a look at some of the games that released without any prior warning before moving on to this week's games. The dates that we are covering will be the 20th of February up until the 26th, and there are definitely some good games coming this week in my opinion, one that I've looked forward to for a very long time. So what's coming? Well, let's find out. Starting with those games that have released without much warning then, the first one is SNK vs Capcom, the match of the Millennium. Now this is a game that released on the Neo Geo Pocket Color back in 1999, and there are now quite a few of these fighting games on the Switch from that particular handheld system. I've played a couple of the other ones, and if this one plays anything like those, then generally they are very solid games with a decent amount of moves, and this one also has the advantage of being the first SNK vs game to release on the Switch. It includes characters from King of Fighters and Samurai Showdown on the SNK side, and then on the Capcom side, series such as Street Fighter and Darkstalkers. It sells for £7.19, and we do have a review code for this one, although more than likely rather than its own dedicated review, it will probably go into a multi-review video in the next couple of weeks. And talking of Capcom, we then have the Capcom Arcade Stadium. Now this was announced during the recent Nintendo Direct and is a collection of some of Capcom's classic arcade games, now featuring a host of quality of life features such as gameplay rewind, speed adjustment, save states and online leaderboards. There appear to be a few different buying options for this one. There are 3 separate packs listed for £11.99 each, with each of these containing 10 games from a period in Capcom's history. Pack 1 is 84 to 88, 2 is 89 to 92, and 3 is 92 till 2001. You can also buy all 30 games as one pack for £29.99, or you can download the app for free, get one game free with it, which I believe is 1943, and then I'm assuming, a bit like the Pinball FX games, you could then buy the games individually that you want. Moving on to this week's upcoming games then, and the first one is called Taxi Chaos. Now yes, I am including this in the hope that it's anything like Crazy Taxi. It all sounds very similar: drive around the city, picking up the craziest of customers, getting your passengers to where they want to go on time, thus making yourself a nice little bit of profit. It promises to be a fresh and modern take on old school classic taxi games, having you explore and mastering the streets, discovering the best routes to maximise your fares. Selling for £31.49 or your regional equivalent, and there is a 10% pre-order discount off of that price if you buy it before launch. Releasing on the 23rd, we have Persona 5 Strikers. Now this did see a release last week in terms of the digital deluxe bundle, but this is your base edition coming this week for £54.99. You will be joining the Phantom Thieves and striking back against the corruption overtaking cities across Japan in this Musou type experience. I won't say too much on this one because we have already reviewed it. The link to that review will be in the top pinned comment if you want the full details.
Persona! What the hell? Ain't this stuff happening all over Japan? I will consume all.
Also on the 23rd and being published by Team 17, we have Rogue Heroes Ruins of Tasos. You need to team up with friends to combat procedural dungeons, exploring an expansive overworld for the secrets and taking down the titans to save the land. Now a good friend of mine, Dave Morrish, and his wife, they have a channel called SaveDex Gaming, and they do a video series where they play games that have a demo, this being one such game, and then give their thoughts on whether it's a game they can see themselves buying. I'll put the link to that video in the top pinned comment if you want to see someone's perspective on the game, or of course you could download that demo and give it a go for yourself. The next game then is called Curse of the Dead Gods and sells for £17.99. This comes out on the 23rd and is a skill-based roguelike where you are exploring a cruel dark temple made of endless rooms and corridors. You have a host of weapons at your disposal including swords, spears, bows and guns, and it says you are seeking riches and divine powers in a temple filled with deadly traps and monsters. It then mentions its curse system. It says corruption will build in you with every step on every run you take. You can encourage or ignore it, but each powerful curse can be a double-edged sword. It's always nice when these roguelites have some sort of mechanic or angle that they go for that makes each new run interesting, so I'm quite intrigued to see how this particular one plays out. On the 25th you have Demon's Rise, Lords of Chaos, which is a turn-based tactical RPG where you command a powerful band of warriors. As is usually the case with tactical RPGs, you will be using terrain effects, cover and line of sight to try and gain an edge over your enemies. You can build a party from over 25 different character classes and equip your warriors with different gear. There is a campaign mode with the blurb saying it lasts for up to 40 hours, and this comes at a relatively cheap price of just £7.19. Then we have one that will just be available in the North American regions for now. It's been delayed in Europe and Australia. This is Littlewood. Littlewood is a game that's been out on Steam for a little while and has received very good reviews over there, and has been described as a bit of a hybrid between games like Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley and things like Forager. It tells a story that takes place after a dark wizard has been defeated and the world has been saved. You must build back up the town of Solemn, customising the buildings, finding rare items and talking to the townsfolk. By meeting new town members you'll have access to new buildings, and you'll also be fulfilling requests of NPCs, and doing so will open up potential new relationship paths. It certainly sounds like quite an interesting mix of the aforementioned games, and it comes out in those North American regions on the 25th. Next up is Hellpoint, which came to PC and other consoles last year and is selling for £31.49 with 10% off of that price if you purchase it before the 26th of February. This is an ARPG set in a sci-fi universe, and you are sent to investigate the Irid Novo space station, which has been devastated and overrun by evil. It says that the space station orbits in real time around a black hole, and this will trigger various dynamic events and change the stats of enemies at certain times, and the gameplay itself focuses very much on defeating your enemies by using a combination of light and heavy attacks as well as an evade move. It mentions that you can play the game in couch co-op as well as being able to play online, and it seemed to get fairly average scores elsewhere when it released last year, but if you are looking for another game with that Souls-like action, it may be one worth considering. Then, Capcom getting another mention, you've got Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection. This is a reboot of the classic arcade game, although apparently it actually takes cues from both Ghosts and Goblins and Ghouls and Ghosts, giving birth to something entirely new, so says the blurb. It's received a graphical overhaul, this time going for a hand-drawn style, and in some respects this gives the game almost a storybook feel, quite befitting of the legendary knight theme that the game of course is well known for. It sounds as if it's going to retain the difficulty of the original, although it is playable in 2-player this time, with player 2 being able to take on one of 3 different characters, all of which will be able to assist Arthur in a different way. It's selling for £24.99 and comes out on the 25th, and to be honest, I just wanted to finally explain why Arthur was sitting in his pants in the graveyard at the start of the game when his missus was kidnapped. Then we have Baobab's Mausoleum Grindhouse Edition. This is a combination of the 3 chapters of this crazy story, and it's an adventure game where you play as a detective aubergine or eggplant, depending on where you are in the world. It has an 8-bit style and a wicked sense of humour, and Mark reviewed definitely 1, maybe 2 episodes of this particular series and really enjoyed it. I will try and dig out the review links and stick them in the top pinned comment. It's selling for £15.29, which is cheaper than buying the 3 chapters separately, but it does again have 10% off of that price if you buy it before launch. This is also getting a physical copy I've seen with a few little bits and bobs in it. Looks quite decent actually, if you'd rather have something to sit on your shelf. And the final game for the week then, the one I'm looking forward to, this is Bravely Default 2. Developed by Square Enix but actually published by Nintendo in the West, this is a series that started on the 3DS with Bravely Default and then Bravely Second, both games of which I played through to completion and absolutely loved. They are classic turn-based RPGs with a very similar Save the World story, but what I really enjoyed about them was the way they freshened up old mechanics. As well as being able to change the frequency of the encounter rate whilst on the map screen, something I very much appreciated. You could also turn it off as well if you didn't feel you needed to grind in a certain area. It also had the Brave and Default systems, so basically you could use all of your party members' moves in one go, being Brave, attempting to brute force your way through a battle, or you could Default, which basically meant you saved up your moves to use them later on. It was a very clever system, and I liked how the most recent trailer for the game basically lambasted people for constantly using Brave. I thought that was very amusing. This is a new story with a different cast of characters, and it does actually have a demo on the eShop that you can try. I haven't tried the demo myself because although I do believe it does have you playing a different storyline to anything you'll find in the actual game, I just want to go in completely fresh. It's selling for £49.99 and releases next Friday the 26th of Feb.
Wind, earth, nature's masters. The great stone's power exceeds the hand of man, and if unleashed, would bring down death, disaster, calamity and blight upon them.
So there you have it. There are a host of games coming to the eShop this week in what, to be fair, is a pretty decent week all told. Please do let us know of any games that you are thinking of picking up, put it all in the comment section below, and do check out those links in the top pinned comment if there's anything in there that might interest you. A quick thank you to our Patreons as always for your continued support, and to each and every one of you for watching our videos. Take care, stay safe of course, and until next time, happy gaming.